Look at somebody, tell them, I won't be left behind. You have got to make the decision for yourself that you are going to go to heaven. We live in a time where people just don't take personal responsibility. You know, when you think about the concept of no man left behind or no person left behind, you think of the military, you think of people running back to get somebody.
Right.
That's not the principle. The principle is that all of us are going to learn the same thing so that no one will miss out.
All right.
Whenever there's a co-op operation, what is the first thing they do? They set their watches. So that we can, that's a big watch, so that we can all be on one accord. So that we can all meet back at the same place at the same time. I'm not talking about you. But it becomes each person's individual responsibility to get back. No one left behind deals with the idea that each person will learn for themselves what it takes to walk with God.
Right.
This morning, I want you to understand there are some things that you have to do in order for you to make it to heaven.
Amen.
There's a certain kind of attitude that you have to have in order for you to make it to heaven. Don't fool yourself and think that somehow you don't have to think the way that everyone else thinks or act the way that everyone else acts or do the things that everyone else do and think that somehow you're going to end up where everyone else is going.
Come on now.
Stick with me this morning, it's going to be okay. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 39. We're just going to run through a few scriptures because I want to show you that there are some things that Paul and these fellows that went before us, these great preachers went before us, and they try to give us a little tidbit of information of what it takes for you to end up in the same place that they want to end up in. Paul said, I fought a good fight.
Right.
I've kept my course.
Yep.
He said, this stored up for me a crown of righteousness. I don't know about you, but for me, there is a crown of righteousness. I said, oh my goodness, Paul was really persuaded in his own mind that he did everything that God called him to do to be able to make it to heaven.
That's right.
And here, Paul gives the kind of attitude that he had in verse 10, verse 39. He says, listen, now the just shall what? Live by faith.
Yes, sir.
If you're going to make it to heaven, you got to be a man and a woman of faith. You got to be a young person that understands what it means to trust God. You got to be a person that says, listen, I don't know what it looks like, but I know that the God that I serve is able to do whatever I need him to do.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you can help me or if you can help me, but I know God can help me and God will help me. And so here we see the mindset of Paul when he says the just shall live by faith. He says, listen, if anybody draws back, he says, our soul doesn't have any pleasure in him. He says, we're not like that in verse 39. We're not of them who draw back into perdition. We're not of them that go back to the club. We're not of them that go back into sin. We're not of them that go back to cussing. We're not of them that go back to drinking. We're not of them that go back to anger and violence. We're people that have made our mind up that we're going to be saved. We're going to live by faith. We're not going to draw back.
Yes. Yes.
Thinking somehow that you're going to make it in and you keep looking back. But I heard the Bible tell Lot's wife, don't look back. Don't look back and see where you came from. You will be like the children of Israel that kept murmuring and complaining, talking about, I remember the onions and I remember the leeks. Don't you know when they got ready to go back to Egypt, something happened? They got destroyed by the enemy. We can't go back. We will not miss out on heaven. Our mind is made up. You might decide to go back. But I've already predetermined in my heart that I'm not going to be left behind. When the Lord descends from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, if I happen to be dead at that time, I am assured that my body will be resurrected. And if the Lord comes back tomorrow while I am alive,
All right.
I am assured that there's going to be a transformation
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that takes place. The Bible says that in the twinkling of an eye, this corruptible, this rotten body will put on an incorruptible body. A body that's able to walk through walls. A body that's able to stand in the very presence of God and not burn up. A body that's able to last throughout eternity. In a moment, in a twinkling of an eye, I am assured
Sure.
that I'm not going to let
Come on, preacher. Yes, sir.